Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the one and only, thank goodness, vice presidential debate is tonight.
I am so looking forward to this.
You're the only one not named Kaine or Pence that's excited about tonight's debate.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think so.
No, because this is candidates of, these are conventional candidates in an unconventional campaign this season. And actually, I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing from them how Donald Trump, how Governor Pence can be sound on policy chops and help Donald Trump if he's elected president.
That is some scintillating advanced billing you just offered.
I know. Thank you. And
wow.
Well, and Kaine can bring some sense of human connection to Hillary Clinton because she lacks that.
Yeah, what a ringmaster you are. Holy goodness.
I love vice presidential debates.
I have a suggested underwriter for tonight's debate, and I don't know why the Presidential Commission on Debates didn't pick up on this, but there is a online club called the Dull Men's Club.
Oh,
it's an online community of men wishing to escape the hurly-burly of everyday life. It advertises as such, whether you're crazy for roundabouts, addicted to photographing mailboxes, have the world's largest collection of British milk bottles, or you're just a dull man with pretty much any sort of hobby that induces bafflement and yawns in friends and acquaintances, there's a club just for you, a drawly, cheerful celebration of the very ordinary. Born to be Mild, which is a documentary on the Dull Men's Club, explores the uncommon hobbies practiced by the members of the Dull Men's Club, an online community that connects dull men and women who appreciate dull men. And would be an ideal sponsor
I'm
for
surprised,
Mike Pence and Tim Kaine.
I'm surprised we're not having a viewing party here at AM 560.
I'm surprised that Mike Pence and Tim Kaine were able to find wives without the help of the Dull Men's Club.
That is...
Oh, is that offensive?
That is... I wanted my safe space back for my vice presidential candidate.
So many unanswered questions going into tonight's debate, like, for example,
yes,
Tim Kaine being the first white man to ever learn the Spanish language, will he do the entire debate in Spanish?
Yo no conozco.
For more answers to those pressing questions, we're happy to be joined by Matt Lewis. He's a CNN political analyst, contributor, and he's the author of the book Too Dumb to Fail. Matt, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So what can we expect from tonight's debate? Just kind of more surrogating to try and paper over some of the rough edges of the respective presidential nominees?
Yeah, I really think this is about the top of the ticket. So we've been showing all day on CNN and every other network the moment where Lloyd Bentsen says to Dan Quayle, "I knew Jack Kennedy, you're no John F. Kennedy."
Mm-hmm.
And remember, Quayle and Bush end up winning that election. So, if debate gotcha moments, mattered in a vice presidential debate, then, we would have had President Dukakis. So I don't think that the vice presidents matter that much. Maybe they should. We've got two candidates that are about 70 years old. But I think the good news is Pence and Kaine, as you were saying, are boring. I think we could use a little boring this cycle. So I think that really what it's about is Trump versus Hillary, even tonight.
What's the format going to be like for tonight? It's just one moderator asking questions?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's the case. I think it'll be like the first debate. We might remember the famous sort of Dick Cheney versus Joe Lieberman debate. They negotiated to be sitting down. I don't think that's the case tonight. Now, in terms of format, the kind of exciting thing, I think, is the next presidential debate, which will be the town hall format.
Right.
I don't see how Trump is going to manage that, but I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, I mean, that's how exciting the VP debate promises to be. Let's skip to Sunday. Mike Pence does a pretty good job of kind of soft pedaling some of Trump's more curious statements. Do you expect there's a particular issue or two that Pence hopes to resolve in some meaningful way to put behind the Trump-Pence ticket?
I mean, I really think that's the one thing to watch for tonight is how does Mike Pence defend some of the things that Donald Trump has said. That is probably what the debate will amount to. Donald Trump said this about veterans suffering from PTSD. Do you agree with that? Donald Trump, the New York Times alleges he may not have paid taxes for decades. Is that fair to the average working Joe? I think that's what to watch tonight. The good news for Pence is that he's actually very adept, it turns out, at defending Trump, in many cases better than Trump defends himself.
Yeah,
Well-
maybe where he gets back to crystallizing some of the choices.
Yes.
It's the, what Donald Trump has said versus what Hillary Clinton has done on issue after issue.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the two-step. It's to, you can't completely ignore a moderator's question, but you can sort of, if you've got 2 minutes to answer a question, you can spend 10 or 15 seconds answering the question and then parry it and sort of move on to go on offense and talk about Hillary Clinton. And let's be honest, there's a lot of serious concerns about Hillary Clinton as well, especially in terms of her honesty and trustworthiness.
Do you think Tim Kaine, I know that he's apparently has never lost an election. Do you think he can bring some sense of human connection to Hillary Clinton to try and deliver a softer side of her, since a lot of people think she's just, a bold-faced liar?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, these are two guys that they're not Mr. Excitement, either one of them, but I think that they're both very likable. And I do think that Tim Kaine, comes across sort of as a nice, good guy. And in fact, everybody I've ever talked to, even if you don't like his policies, he seems to be unanimous. He is a decent, good guy. I think that shows through. The Republican Party right now is trying to launch some attacks on him in terms of people that he's defended as a lawyer. I just don't think that's going to fly, and I think really they should be going after Hillary. That's what voters are going to care about.
There's an anti-Tim Kaine ad out there?
Well,
I want to
Yeah.
hear that.
And so, but in terms of the issue tonight, some of this will be what's in the news cycle, and what's in the news cycle, as you mentioned at the outset, is that New York Times story from over the weekend. And this seems to me an issue, despite a tactical mistake on Trump's part, in my estimation, and I know the estimation of a lot of others, in not releasing his tax returns long ago, at least after he secured the nomination to dispense with this long ago. This is an issue, the way the New York Times has done it, and what the reveal was, that it seems very well suited to turn to Donald Trump's advantage, not to just dispatch it, but to actually turn a bug into a feature with the Hillary critique on taxes and tax paying, and presenting the contrast between a lifelong public sector suckling who's leveraged public office for private gain versus somebody who's had a life of taking risks and sometimes losing, but on net winning a lot more than he lost and creating a lot of wealth and job opportunities for others in the process.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you've just explained that better than any of the Trump surrogates have, to be honest. But I agree that there is. It may seem like an obvious loser for Trump, but I think there's a way to sort of spin it and to talk about that. Our tax code is created so that you can write off losses, so that you can get back out there and try to create more jobs and grow the economy. I don't know that the Trump people have effectively made that argument. I know they've tried. I don't think they've quite nailed it yet.
Well, don't you think Trump's argument would be a lot stronger if he just released his tax returns?
Well, at this point, I've got sort of two hats that I'm wearing. As a journalist and even as a citizen, I obviously would love to have him release them for transparency's sake. But I have to tell you, at this point, as if I were a strategist, I don't think I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're about a month out of the election now. I don't think the election's going to be about his taxes. I think it's going to be about his temperament. And I don't think anything good could really come from it at this point. Now, maybe he should have done it, 6 months ago.
Well, let's take a little look ahead, since you mentioned the town hall format in St. Louis on Sunday night, and you suggest you don't know how Trump's going to handle that. Explain what you meant.
Well, it's actually my column for Roll Call this week is about this topic. And, if you look at who has done well, obviously in 1992, Bill Clinton really did a great job in that town hall debate where he felt our pain.
Gosh, I hope nobody asks boxes or briefs for the two of them. Please don't ask that
Pepsi
question.
or Coke or that whole thing.
It strikes me that every medium has a built-in skew, and it strikes me that a town hall debate is inherently about empathy and empathizing with. Because remember, it's not if a moderator asks you a silly question or a question you don't want to answer, you can attack the moderator or ignore the question and not be punished that much.
Mm-hmm.
But if a civilian, just a regular American asks you a question like, Mr. Trump, you didn't pay taxes according to the New York Times, and why is it that I have to pay? I make minimum wage and I pay thousands of dollars. Something like that. I don't see Trump being the Bill Clinton type character who can answer that.
All right. He is Matt Lewis, CNN contributor, author of the book Too Dumb to Fail: How the GOP Betrayed the Reagan Revolution to Win Elections. And you can get Matt Lewis's distillation on Sunday night's debate and roll call this week. Matt Lewis, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.